Okay. Welcome again for the second part of this day. I'd like to make some announcement. Our new program for the new season is available, so keep it in mind. I'd like to say a little bit about the publications of Dr. de Brugge. The 12 instructions are there. Yeah. Martin was so excited that he considered to change his lectures, but I say don't do it. So, I say in Dutch to him that waar je mee omgaat, word je mee besmet. So from now on, he cannot say anymore, Point Loma, what is that? I don't know the guys. Yep. It's yours, Martin.
Thank you. And don't forget the program, Herman.
You don't want to have it?
Oh yeah, I could. I don't understand, you know. I can't even read this. Theosophy talks. Thank you. I own it. Oh, I'm on it. Oh, really? Oh, very important. Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me well? Yes? Okay. You all got the Stanzas of Dzyan. Else, thank you. Very good. Yeah. Exhibit 1. Exhibit. And I want to show you a tool that I used to study the Stanzas of Dzyan. Do you all know the stanzas in the sense of you are familiar with what it means? Everybody? Stanzas? Let's go in negative. Anybody here doesn't know the Stanzas of Dzyan? Never heard of it? Anybody here? Never heard? Never seen them? Don't know them by heart? Any? I have to ask something. People say, no, we don't know. No? Okay, so this is good. Thank you. This is very good. So let's erase our demiurgos. Sorry about this. And I think it's good enough or fair to devote the last 15-ish minutes of this afternoon for a couple questions and comments, okay? And if you don't have any questions or comments, of course, I'm going to talk 15-ish more minutes. But I want to leave at the end time for you to share and, again, questions and comments. Okay? Is that good? Okay. And you could interrupt me if you want to, if there is one question that is you can't live without the answer. But I don't care. It will be at the end, okay? So we said it's going to be at the end. Anyways, it's going to be at the end, right? At the end. So write it down. Write it down. That's good enough? Yeah, write it down. Yes. Perfect. Is that perfect? Oh, that's perfect. That's very good. So the stanzas of Dzyan in Cosmogenesis are all in here. And this is something, again, that Theosophy has to offer to the world. Unique, right? Nobody else have stanzas of Dzyan. We copyrighted them. No. but it's something really extraordinary. Why? Because in here, we're going to find the ideas necessary for the Anchohan, the Demiurgos, to establish a universe. Which universe? The one we live. And how do we know that? Because we're here, right? This is it, right? And it's based on several ideas, and they're all in here. And that's what we're going to work like a workshop, right? So you see how this works. Therefore, when we open the secret doctrine, after 2 introductions of Blavatsky, right? When you open volume 1, you got an introduction. That wasn't enough, so she wrote another introduction. That wasn't enough. So she wrote what is called the proem, and I heard that you translated as the prologue, right? So that's the 3rd introduction. And in that prologue, Blavatsky started with a fantastic book. You remember that? A manuscript, where she says, this manuscript, alchemical treated, right? And it makes it indestructible to fire and water and whatever she said is good, right? So we need to know how that's done, but not yet. We don't know how to do that. But the page 1, you remember what was in page 1? It was a circle, right? And the circle was in a black background, correct? Black background. What is the black background? Is the most mysterious mysteries of all, which we're going to give it a name, and it's called space. Correct? Space. Who created space? Space. I mean, just think about that. Our little universe, which is really big, but our little universe is in that space. Correct? It's just one little circle or sphere in that space. What is that space? Without that space, we won't be here. That is a terrible thought. We need that space. We got to have that space. What is that space? What it's made of? Well, we don't know. And Blavatsky tells us, don't even think about it. Isn't that true? It's unthinkable, unimaginable, unspeakable. Just don't. So we're going to stop about that. It's unthinkable. And the best way to symbolize it is dark space. That's our home. That's where everything comes from, where everything is. And I'm sorry, it's really not come from, where everything is. Blavatsky gave it a name, and that name was absolute. Not the vodka. I don't know if you have that vodka here, absolute. It is absolute. In Los Angeles, absolute, everywhere. It's the vodka. So we have to paint it in black, and this is the absolute. So it's a wrong idea. So absolute, what an incredible word, the absolute. That's the absolute wants you, needs you, use you, absolutely not. So always use not next to the absolute. It's negative, absolutely not. Doesn't think about you, doesn't care about you. It's like an analogy, the board, but a blackboard. And we can write on it because there is a blackboard. We can erase because there is a blackboard. But does the blackboard cares what you write on it? The blackboard never complains, right? No, that doesn't. So the absolute doesn't complain either. Is it a God? No, it's not a God. It's space. The mystery of all mysteries. Close your eyes and feel that space. It's beyond understanding. Because our little universe is in that space. Our little universe has a fabric, which we call our universe. Scientists nowadays know that that fabric can ripple. Have you seen that? The ripples of the fabric of time and space. And Einstein predicted, and people are measuring those ripples when a black hole explodes or something like that. It's beyond imagination. Our universe can ripple. But those ripples, behind that, there is a mystery, space. Space. Now, if you believe in God, God is created space. Isn't that true? That's what people say. God created our space. But where is God in that space? He can't create himself, right? So where is space? So in Theosophy, you will not find that a God created space. But space is uncreated. Uncreated. And every time in the secret doctrine you see the word uncreated, anupadaka, in Sanskrit, you all know Sanskrit, right? At least that word, anupadaka, and etc. But it's a mystery. I like to say mystery for those things that I cannot think about it. Right? It's a mystery. Space is a mystery. Therefore, the circle in that space represents our universe. That's where we are. And that universe has characteristics. One of them is cyclical. What is that cyclicity? It has a beginning, an end, another beginning, another end. Never had a beginning, never will have an end. Isn't that another mystery? Because we want a beginning, right? Don't we want a beginning? We had a beginning. Martin was born September 24. You don't need to send me a note. Yeah, this is a secret. September 24, beautiful day. Just beautiful, right? September, wow. And we want to know the beginning. We want to know a beginning. Well, we cannot. Theosophy teaching is not a Hollywood movie. It is what it is. It doesn't have a beginning, doesn't have an end. But we want to have a beginning. So sorry about that. We have a new beginning, correct? And that's the Stanzas of Dzyan, a new beginning. In that new beginning, the cyclicity of this universe is something that is a law of nature, or in nature, a law. Where these laws come from? Blavatsky has a formula. Deity is law. Law is deity. For scientists to have a universe emerging, whether it's a Big Bang or any other way, they need laws. They need substance. They need forces. You follow me? They need laws. They need substance. They need forces. In Theosophy, we need one more thing, deity. But Blavatsky told us deity really is law and force and light. So it's all the same. Why? Because by analogy, all the physical universe is like the metaphysical universe. It's all one. When we see the laws of nature, what we're seeing is the divine beings contemplating the ideas, establishing a universe. You remember that diagram? Divine beings, the demiurgos of Plato, contemplating ideas. They establish the physical universe through the willpower, which we're going to call Fohat. And by that, the laws of nature show up. So one of the reasons why we study Theosophy is to study the laws of nature. Isn't that true? It's so beautiful. One of those laws is the cyclicism, the cyclicity of nature, right? Cyclicity of nature. The other one, you have another one? Karma. It's very good. Karma. We saw that in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Karma. Another law, symmetry. As above, so below. Therefore, we can use analogies. Another law, there are many more. In the physical universe, we have Newton and we have all these beautiful laws, right? For gravitation, for forces, for masses, and we all know them. So there are laws everywhere. Laws means relationship, and when you know the law, you can predict. Correct? When you know the law, you can predict. So we're looking for understanding the laws of nature, the nature of the universe, and those ideas. The first idea that shows up in the Theosophical literature, in the Secret Doctrine, is the law of unity. And for that, Blavatsky told us that this universe of ours is symbolized in a circle that is white, right? And is on a background that is dark. And this is our space, remember? Which she called absolute. Absolute. Now, I started by having this white disk on page 2 of that incredible, marvelous book that she has in her hand. And I made it dark because we are in pralaya. You know what pralaya is? In this cyclicity of the universe goes in a stage of pralaya, rest, and manifestation. In Sanskrit, manvantara, activity. During rest, the universe absorbs the whole universe into what we call symbolically the point, the unity. And this is, in the Secret Doctrine, is going to call the point, right? The one, the germ, and so on. Everything about the one. So the first idea is the one, right? Behind the one, space. So far, so good. This is the ABC of the Secret Doctrine. The beginning of all, space, and the one. When the one, the point is in a circle, it's called the one all. The one all. Because all is our universe, and that universe is absorbed in the one point. So the point is a symbol of the universe in pralaya. So far, so good? Yeah, the point. When you close your eyes and you meditate on this, and you resume the whole universe into that one point, you got it. You contemplated the idea of the one. The idea of the one. The first idea. How does it look, this idea of the one? Can you describe it? The idea of the one? Yes, I told you it's the most brilliant light of being, right? Per Plato. So it's brilliant light, right? It's this. Brilliance, just white. Just the most brilliant light of being. Is the idea of the one. If you could really contemplate the idea of the one, you will understand unity. You'll understand and realize the meaning of oneness. We all one. The whole universe is one. This is almost impossible because we live so fragmented. You and me are so separated. And from birth, we are told that you and me are different. And this is my space, don't touch it. This is your space, don't dare to touch it. And so on. We are so fragmented. The idea of the one is extremely difficult. In the universe, it happens in pralaya, where everything is all dark. And then Blavatsky called this moment absoluteness. Absoluteness. When the quality of the absolute, this is the absolute, right? When the quality of the absolute appears to be in our universe, because it's all in pralaya. You see it with me? You are with me? The idea of the one, the idea of what's going to happen. So if we have a one all in pralaya, is in a state of absoluteness. Remember, absolute is the space behind it. How many universes are in that space? We don't know. Can we say countless? Maybe countless universes, right? What's the size of this? Unthinkable, unspeakable. So it's about right? Impossible to say, right? And in that, they are countless. If there is another universe here, right? Can we talk? No. Why? Because it's so big. And what is this space when there is no information? There is no plane of activity, right? Plane of consciousness. How can we even communicate from one universe to another? This is like mind-boggling. I mean, that's the word. It's like impossible to think. So the secret doctrine only cares about our little universe. So even if we say it's countless universe, well, how the information is going to travel from here to here? This is incredible. We, can think about it. It's so difficult to travel from here to here when they say millions of light years. Wow. So again, the first idea, therefore, is the idea of the one. And that the idea of the one is represented symbolically by a period that had dot in the center, and the dot has no dimensions. The period has no meaning. The dot has no meaning. The idea of the one. If you could contemplate, like Plato would like you to contemplate, the idea of the one, you will understand and realize the idea of the one. You are total illuminated with the oneness. You got it. You realize yourself. This is the most difficult thing in life. Because why? We trap in separativity, in fragmentation. Very difficult. What happened to this darkness in the secret doctrine? So in stanza 1:5, so get used to the vocabulary like in the Bible, Genesis 3:5, and everybody goes to, right, to the Bible and they go there. Here is stanza 1:5. Darkness alone filled the boundless all. We have the idea of the one, which is darkness, the idea of pralaya, the idea of absoluteness, and in this case, darkness alone filled the boundless all of our universe. But then we all know that that universe is in a dark background, which is the home of the home, right, the absolute, and yes, fills everything, darkness. What is the nature of darkness? What is the nature of darkness? What is the idea of darkness? Is absence of life, yes? And light, and everything you want to know, because it's really the one all in pralaya, right? So everything is there. Now, Blavatsky in the Prom gave us the keynote of the stanzas, and they are in this corner. That is here. And then in stanza 1, she says, describes the state of the one all during pralaya. You see that? The one all in pralaya is described as darkness. Then she also said, it's in negative, and a couple lines later she says, this is Blavatsky, is the state of absoluteness per se. It's all dark, all dark. Everything is there, right? Darkness. What I want to do now is a technique that is extremely important in the studies of occultism, metaphysics, and everything else in life, which is called linking of ideas. When you study anything that has more than one page, because most of the book has more than one page, right? Otherwise, it's going to be a very little book and easy. But a lot of books, goes on and on and on. And when we go to the 400 page, what was in the first page? We lost track. No human being is capable to keep track of all this. So you can pick one idea and work with it. That's what we're going to do. I call that linking or connecting ideas or important things. So when you study anything, focus on one thing you like and link it and build on it. Let's do that as an illustration. So we agree that darkness shows up in 1-5, right? Darkness alone filled the boundless all, right? And then in stanza 2-1, you're with me? 2-1, it says, where were those builders, the luminous sons of the Manvantara, in the unknown darkness? So when we ask, where is the demiurge who is going to establish the universe? It's in darkness. We know that, right? Because the one all is in darkness. So that makes sense. So far, so good? Now, in the idea of the one, when you contemplate the idea of the one, you get the idea of unity. Unity. But there is something also you're going to get, and it's going to shock you. And you're going to say, no, it cannot be. When you look into the one, what you're going to see is a two. Because nobody creates two or created two. Two emerges from the one. So when you go like Sherlock Holmes and you look at the one, you have to see two inside, like the yin and the yang. Isn't that true? In that circle, you have the two. If you are very far away, you say one, the Tao. But when you get really close to the one and you contemplate, you have to see the two in it. Otherwise, you need a God that created the two. You see that? Very important theosophically speaking. There is no creation but manifestation, which we can call it emergence. It emerges from the one. It was always there. It was always there. The two always on the one. Very difficult to comprehend unless you have a symbol, and have the symbol of the yin and the yang. That dance of the one and the two, right? In the one. The dance. So the two is already there. It's magical. Isn't that true? It's there. And it's only matter of time when the two shows up, and the three and the four. Plato tells us in the Republic that it's through these numbers that we can elevate our soul to the world of ideas. Through each number represents an idea that can be represented with a form, geometry, and that's why all of us love geometry. Didn't you love geometry? How to calculate a triangle area and how to the cube. And we all love that. And numbers. Didn't we love arithmetic? We all love math. Why? We didn't know that then. They express the ideas. And Plato said, you got to study math, arithmetic, and geometry because that's how your soul elevates to the ideas. The idea of the one is the highest idea of them all. Why? Because it's the one, right? It has in it the unity of everything, but also has the future, the idea of the two. So far, so good? You follow this? Because for me, it's very difficult to follow myself, so I need reassurance. So it's hard to explain what cannot be explained. So when you look at the one, what do you see? The two. What do you contemplate? Unity. Both things at the same time. At the same time. Can we do that? Of course. That's why we have a buddhi that integrates and a mind that differentiate fragments, right? These are the two operations in higher mathematics, differentiation and integration, or something like that, right? Okay, so let's keep going. If the one really is the two, if the one is the two, how do we see it in the stanzas? So in stanza 1-1, we got to see the two, because Blavatsky told us that stanza 1 describes the one all during pralaya. So it's the one, but we need to see two. So let's see if it's true. 1-1, the eternal parent wrapped in her, feminine, ever invisible robes. Don't we have two things? An eternal parent and the robes. See that? So the idea of the two is already in the one, in stanza 1-1. No confusion, right? It's already two. Why? Because when we want to contemplate the one, we got to see the two, but as a unity. So far, so good? 1-1 gave us the first glimpse of the idea of the two. Eternal parent, invisible robes. So we have two things in the one. True? So this is stanza 1, but in 1-1, we have an eternal parent and we have robes. They are invisible, right? Because we are in pralaya. As we move along, you're going to see that our point, this point, right, in the circle, is going to be called germ in stanza 2. And here we go. In 2-5, it says, the 7 sons, which are the Anchohans, these are the hierarchy of divine beings who are going to contemplate the ideas to establish the universe. So the 7 sons were not yet born from the web of light. Darkness alone was father, mother, Swabhavat. So this darkness, which is right here in stanza 1, is father, mother, Swabhavat. Is that how Swabha? No. How do you spell Swabhavat, Susan?
S-V-A.
B?
B-H-A-V-A-T.
Swabhavat. Like that? Okay, thank you. I don't know English well. Swabhavat, very English. Huh? Okay. Spanish. Where is Spanish here? So listen well. In stanza 2-5, it says, darkness alone was father, mother, comma, Swabhavat. See that? So we have the two again with different vocabulary, because in 2-5, we are just about to create the cosmos. We are going to unveil a cosmos, beautiful universe. So far, so good? Yes? So we are linking one idea, which is the one all in pralaya, our little universe before manifestation. Therefore, the quality is darkness. And in that darkness, we find that the point, the one, is really two. The parent with robes. Father, mother, Swabhavat. You see that? As we go to stanza 3, we're going to find that the universe will unfold. Now we are in Manvantara. In 3-3, oh, by the way, in 2-6 it says, these two, father, mother, Swabhavat, are the germ. See that? These two are the germ. Got it? That's another great idea that we could link, right? But in 3-3, all of a sudden, darkness radiates light, right? this darkness with a point radiates light. And light drops one solitary ray in the mother's deep. Do you see that? And at the end of that process, we're going to have a world egg. So we have darkness radiating light. How do you draw darkness radiates light? Difficultly. It's very difficult to do that. So my favorite is to radiate light, right? Like this. Do you see it? Remember, I don't see what I do. So radiates light, and here is the light, right? There is radiation. So in that light, right, drops one solitary ray, and the universe then unfolds. What happened to our darkness? In 2.6, in the second line says, darkness vanished and was no more. Are you with me? 2.6? Everybody, yes? Darkness, did you find that? Darkness vanished and was no more. Why? It disappeared in its own essence. So what was darkness, essentially speaking? Light. Pure light. Why was darkness? Because we were in pralaya. You and me were sleeping. You remember that? I love that image. You and me, all of us, with trillions and trillions of more monads, countless monads, were all sleeping in the germ. Yeah. Do you need a representation of sleeping? I'm really good at that. We were all there as monads, absorbed in that which we call the germ. Did you get the idea what darkness is? Darkness is a state of absoluteness of the whole universe when it was at rest in pralaya. In that darkness resides this duality, which is the germ. When the time comes, darkness radiates light, and at the end of that, there is no more darkness because it disappears in its own essence. It's beautiful. There is no more darkness. Wow. And that's how it is. This is the story. Now we have a universe. Isn't that cool? So, can you illustrate that? And if you don't, work on it. Because this is the most abstract way to illustrate the beginning of two ideas, the one and the two. If you contemplate the idea of the two, you have the complete understanding that everything in the universe is dual. And the only way to find unity is to go beyond the duality into the one. And we get stuck in the two, because two acts like a veil of the one. So when you see the two, the idea of the two, the idea of duality, of course you're going to contemplate the meaning, the fullness of the meaning of the two, duality, everything that is dual. You're going to see that it veils the idea of the one by being the two. Blavatsky depicts it as a line now, as a horizontal line, veiling the idea of the one. Maya shows up. The power of Maya shows up. It has another condition and characteristic in the idea of the two, which is there is a three coming up, right? Because it says Father, Mother, and Son are not yet. So on the two, there are three things. He veils the one, you understand the meaning of two, duality, and you need to see that a third is coming up, the idea of the third. So far, so good? So to build a universe, we need the 1 and the 2, right? And then we have a universe. Let's concentrate on the 2 now. And on the 2, we have the eternal parent, wrapped in the invisible robes. And then on 2-2, we have Father, Mother, and Swabhavat. And these are terms, yes.
2-5.
I'm sorry, what?
2-5.
This is 2-5? 2-5. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I forgot that the 2 is 3, 2 and 3 is 5. Theosophy always gets to the right answer, you know. We just need other numbers. Thank you. So in 2-5, we have the idea that these 2 in stanza 1, right before Manvantara, the emergence of the universe, it becomes Father, Mother, and Swabhavat. As we continue, who is Father, Mother, and Swabhavat? Who are they? Linking is very important. You link this, and if we had the time, I would ask you to look for it, but we don't have the time, so I'm going to look for it for you. And this is in 310. And 310. So in 310 happens the following. Father, Mother, spin a web. You know what spin is, right? It's going to make the fabric of the universe. Father, Mother, and remember, when you put a hyphen, it means that both terms are one in grammar. Yep? Hyphen means that you made one word out of 2 seemingly different words. Father dash mother is a unity, right? Okay, so what Father Mother is going to do is going to spin a web. What is a web? Well, it's a fabric, right? It's a fabric. Father Mother is going to spin a web. And what else it says? The upper end is fastened to spirit, which is what? The light of the one darkness. The lower end to its shadowy end, matter. Matter. See that? So what's the function of Father, Mother in this duality? They're spinning a web. More or less, you read that, right? Spin a web, which the upper part of the fabric is tied to spirit, the lower to matter. And what is spirit and matter? He says, these 2 substances are made in one, which is Swabhavat. So these 2 substances are one, which is Swabhavat. So Swabhavat is the matter of the universe, the substance of the universe, which is called spirit and matter. And the one who is making the fabric of the universe is Father, Mother. You see how easy it is? Yes. Just work this out. So, we have the idea of the one, the germ of all, right? And in the germ of all, you're going to have the idea of the one, which is the idea of the 2. I need my clock, 1 second. The idea of the 2, correct? In the 1, we have the 2. Just before Manvantara, the words eternal parents and the robes became Father, Mother, and Swabhavat. Each of them are going to have a function. In the idea of the 2, you need the 3. The 3 in the secret doctrine is the son of both, which is called the universe, the son of necessity. That's in stanza 1. And in that third, this universe, in order to make this universe, if you are able to see the most incredible metaphysical operations of all, we need two aspects of the one, which is the invisible Father-Mother, which the invisible Swabhavat at this point. And one is going to be the deity of it. Father-Mother is deity, and the other is substance. We're not talking about spirit and matter. We're talking about deity, the law, deity, and substance, the homogeneous substance. One is going to permeate substance and shape it in 7 dimensions. You follow this? In 7 planes, in 7 principles. And this is the magic that is happening. Father-Mother, therefore, is the active principle permeating all the substance and creating the web of the universe, the fabric of the universe. This universe is our circle, not space outside the circle, the circle. This is the fabric that can ripple. This is the fabric that can bend. This is the fabric that can have black holes. This is the fabric that we have electromagnetism. This is the fabric that light travels and is the medium of information, of light and electricity and thought and thoughts. Everything travels in that fabric. But we need that fabric because the other space is nothing. It's something we cannot think. So we need to see the mystery of our space different from the board, and that is the fabric that the secret doctrine just unveiled to us. We need this duality, which is deity and which is substance. Isn't that incredible? And then we have the fabric of our universe, where everything happens. And what happens, Blavatsky tells us, is this fabric of the universe is septenary in 7 planes, and is septenary in 7 principles. And in those 7 planes, in the lower 4, we're going to have what is called the chain, the planetary chains, and we are in one of them, which is the planet Earth. So in the end, when we see the number 3, what we see, the idea of 3, is this universe that is veiling the 2, that is veiling the 1, and on the 3 we have our universe. And what happened in 3, if we could contemplate the 3, we have now the divine beings focusing, contemplating the ideas. That's why they are called Dhyan Chohans, the lords of contemplation. Contemplating those ideas, they establish a universe with all the laws of nature, with symmetry that we can study through the law of analogy, with all the forces and colors and virtues, with the karma and the divine plan, which we call dharma, right? The plan. And if we can see that, that will be a big help to all of us. If we can see for one moment, by linking couple ideas and forget the rest, and focus on what is that we're studying. The idea of the 1, the idea of the 2, the idea of the 3. Now, this is thick as a brick, because we are not used to fly like Plato in the world of ideas. But you can see, I hope, that behind these stanzas of Dzyan is the story that we're looking for. It's a story without romance in the sense of a little mythological story and dogmas. It's something that we can research, something we can fly and contemplate. And that's the purpose of studying, in my opinion, the stanzas of Dzyan, idea by idea. If you go and start reading line by line, you should all do and you have done, by the end you have all the stanzas in your mind, but you lost the ideas. Isn't that true? Because you just can't focus in all of them at once. So what I'm showing you, after you are familiar with the text, with the vocabulary, with the terminology, you are familiar with the 7 stanzas, then you take one idea and you link it. And you take the ideas of stanza 1 and link that to all of them. You take the new ideas of stanza 2 and link them all. Link them all, connect them all. And you're going to see how ideas come in and disappear in their own essence. We don't need them anymore. When they disappear, they are veiled with the new ideas. The last idea that show up in the stanzas is in anthropogenesis, and is the idea of the human being. And the idea of the human being veils all the ideas. Because why? We have kamamanas. We have a mind that says, me is better. And what do we need to do is to break through all of them. And what is the number of the human being? Well, it's very long, right? Because it's way down there. And these are Kabbalistic numbers, and they love that number. It's the number of the Messiah, it's the number of this, it's the number of that, and it's the number of a cycle. And in that number, you veiled everything else. Remember, every idea unveils something, tells you a story, and veils the previous one. Isn't that interesting? Yes? Okay. Before I go to the next point, I would like to have 10 minutes of comments and thoughts here, just to give you a break before the other break. Do you have any questions, any comments of a reflection of this or a question? Anybody? Yes, yes, no? Don't be afraid. I don't laugh. Okay, so the point is, I tried to show you that as you take one idea and you explore it, you're going to arrive to a magical moment of understanding something bigger and better to what you started. Something about the universe, something about us. So there are more ideas here. And the question is always there. What are the ideas that you need if you were at the Anchohan to establish a universe? And as above, so below. What are the ideas that you need to do your life, to live your life in harmony with this nature? Do you know them? Do you know those ideas that you need to work on? And if you say no, this is why Plato, in the Republic, started the dialogue talking to an old man. Cephalos was in his 80s, right? And he said, I enjoy talking to old people because they have walked the road that I need to walk. Tell me, so to speak, what's the meaning of life? What's your idea of the meaning of life? And he said, I don't know. I don't know. Do we know what's the idea of life? Do we know where we come from, where we're going, who we are, what are the antidotes to all the wrong turns that we have done and we carry with us for 18 million years already? Do we know? Do we know? And why are we waiting to know? And the reason why we're waiting to know is very simple. We don't know that there is a knowing, right? We don't know that there is a knowing. We don't know that the universe is all about knowledge. It's all about knowing. It's all about karma and mercy. This is why in stanza 6:1, when the whole universe is already in the make, right? Because we just were in stanza 3, all of a sudden, the third logos, the number 3, becomes dual, and it says here, by the power of the Mother of Mercy and Knowledge, Kuan Yin, Fohat, the divine will, right? Fohat creates the universe. So in this universe, the stanza is telling us that the idea of mercy and knowledge is informing the universe. You see that? So the ability to know it and the ability or the possibility of making wrong turns is there, but there is mercy and there is knowledge in that. And later on, we're going to develop now the idea of the 3 and the 4 to get to the point that we need, like in the stanzas, the feminine logos to provide the light that we need to follow the path, to be a great human being and to understand the universe. Isn't this incredible? By the power, I mean, imagine that, the power of the deity, of the law, based on mercy and knowledge. This is a great hope that we all have. This is not to punish people, to destroy people, right? This is a path, a divine plan that is based on light and wisdom and on these bright ideas. So let's take a break, 7 minutes. 7 is good? 5, 7 minutes. And when we come back, we'll continue with the unfolding of the universe that we live on, all the way to see ourselves in it. This is our challenge in Theosophy. Please, move. Stand up, move the bones, move the forehead.